How's it going, all you beautiful people? I've been getting the price of every single ETB from Scarlet and Violet base to Phantasmal Flames since January 1st. The reason why I'm using ETBs is every single set has ETBs, and specialty sets like Prismatic Evolutions, 151, White Flare, Black Bolt don't have booster boxes. I know a lot of people talk about prices of sets with booster boxes, but specialty sets don't have booster boxes, so I'm just using ETBs because the main goal is to keep track of all the ETBs from Scarlet and Violet base to Phantasmal Flames and see how the prices change week after week so we can see how the Pokemon market is performing. A lot of people have a lot of thoughts on the Pokemon market. A lot of people think it's going to go up, go down, crash, this or that. But one thing you can't deny is looking at data over time and arguing against the data. Because if data shows that these ETBs are going up in price, then the Pokemon market is doing well. So this is a chart. This is what we have this week. I have the price of every single ETB from Scarlet and Violet base to Phantasmal Flames since January 1st. But to make the table smaller, I just have the prices on January 1st, last week, February 12th, and then today, February 19th. And I'm using the lowest listing on TCG Player. I know that's not the best way to get the price of things, but I'm just staying consistent with using lowest listing just to make it easy to plot these data points for all these ETBs. So, and I'm doing that the same way every single week. So it's okay to compare every week with lowest listing. So I'm not going to go over every single one of these ETBs, but I'm going to highlight some of them. So let's take a look. Scarlet and Violet base Miraidon. It's up. It was started at $92.08 on January 1st. Last week it was $111.38. This week it's $118.98. So since last week it's gone up 6.82%. Since January 1st it's gone up 29.21%. That's a big increase since the beginning of the year. It's only been about a month and a half, a little over a month and a half. For something to go up 29%, I would say that's performing pretty well. Paldea Evolve. One thing to keep in mind is all the sets from Scarlet and Violet base to Paldean Fates is going out of print in April. And it's actually going out of rotation, so the competitive Pokemon TCG, they can no longer use those cards. But that typically means that Pokemon isn't going to print these sets anymore. That's Scarlet and Violet base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, 151, Paradox Rift, and Paldean Fates. These will be going out of print in April. So Paldea Evolved is one of the good sets and those that are going to go out of print. And it had a decent bump from last week to this week. So on January 1st, it was $124.97. Last week, it was $124.99. And this week, it's today, it's $137.89. So that's an increase of 10.32% since last week and an increase of 10.34% since the beginning of the year. Obsidian Flames. That's another set that's doing extremely well since the beginning of the year. On January 1st, it was $159.60. Last week, it was $174.99. And this week, it's $179.99. So it's up 2.86% since last week and 12.78% since the beginning of the year. And this Obsidian Flames is continuously going up. Before we get to the next one, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support. And if you're watching currently, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Your support goes a long way in supporting a small channel like mine, so I really appreciate it. So let's get back to 151. 151 is the most popular set that's going out of print in April, and it's seen pretty massive price increases with already being a pretty expensive ETB. So on January 1st, it was $375.87. I mean, that's already expensive to begin with for an ETB. Last week it was $434.99. This week it's $433.99. So it has dropped 0.23% since last week, but it is up 15.46% since the beginning of the year. So it's performing extremely well as an ETB that's already expensive to begin with. The next one, Paradox Rift Roaring Moon. And the reason why I'm talking about this is the only ETB on this list that has fallen since the beginning of the year. Every single other ETB on this list has gone up since the beginning of the year. So this one it was $104.93 on January 1st. Last week was $100. This week is $103. So it has gone up 3% since last week, but it is down 1.84% since the beginning of the year. But it is the only set on this list that is down since the beginning of the year. So I would say, the Pokemon market is doing pretty well. Paldean Fates, another good set that's going to go out of print in April. On January 1st, it was $264.20. Last week, it was $295. This week today is $305. So it's up 3.39% since last week and up 15.44% since the beginning of the year. Again, this is an expensive ETB, just like 151, but it's continuously going up in price. I don't see it stopping anytime soon. It's going to go out of print, so I wouldn't be surprised if it had a pretty big jump up after it goes out of print. But I guess we'll wait and see. That's why we're gathering this data. The next one, Twilight Masquerade. It's gone up since the beginning of the year. It was $66.93. Last week, it was $73.49. And today, it's $74.99. So it's gone up 2.04% since last week and 12.04% since January 1st. Twilight Masquerade was one of the ones that I said was underrated on my first video. The three that I said were underrated from the price that it was on January 1st, they were Twilight Masquerade, Surging Sparks, and Prismatic Evolutions. And Twilight Masquerade is doing pretty well. The next one, Surging Sparks, another of the ones that I said was underrated. It's gone up from $69.15 on January 1st to $78.99 last week to $82.95 this week. So it's gone up 5.01% since last week, and it's up 19.96% since the beginning of the year. Another of the ones I said was underrated, and it's kind of showing because it's up almost 20% since the beginning of the year. The third one that I said was underrated is Prismatic Evolutions. It was $122.55 on January 1st. Last week it was $148.47. And today it's $152.99. So it's up 3.04% since last week. And it's up 24.84% since the beginning of the year. Prismatic Evolutions, to me, was underrated at the beginning of the year because it got printed so much, but the price was staying so strong. And now we're seeing Prismatic Evolution products just do super well. They're going up in price really well, so I don't see it stopping anytime soon. It's going to be a set that does well over time, or that's my personal opinion, but that's what I think about Prismatic Evolutions. The next one, Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals has gone crazy this year. On January 1st, it was $133.91. Last week, it was $184.98. Today, it's $182.98. It's dropped 1.08% since last week, but it is up 36.64% since the beginning of the year. That's a massive increase. It's been a little over a month and a half, and it's up 36.64%. Best performing ETB on this list, and Destined Rivals is a very popular set, and I do see it continuing to do well. Next to Black Bull and White Flare. Black Bull has gone up from $84.25 on January 1st to $88.78 last week to $93.40 today. So it's gone up 5.2% since last week and up 10.86% since the beginning of the year. And White Flare has gone from $79.01 on January 1st to $85 last week to $86.97 today. That's up 2.32% since last week and 10.07% since the beginning of the year. So White Flare, Black Bolt are seeing some love. There's a lot of really good cards in those sets, and I do see those sets doing well over time. I see all these sets doing well over time, but like I said, people have different opinions. Some people thought the Pokemon market was going to crash. So we're taking a look at the data to just see how the Pokemon market is doing. And the last one I want to point out is Phantasmal Flames with that beautiful Charizard card. Beautiful Charizard SIR, one of the best Charizard artworks that Pokemon's come out with. On January 1st, it was $76.11. Last week, it was $84.99. Today, it's $89.74. So it's up 5.59% since last week and 17.91% since the beginning of the year. That's another massive increase. And adding all these together, on January 1st, this whole thing was $2,506.04. Last week, it was $2,784.63. Today, it's $2,838.88. So it's up as a whole portfolio 1.95% since last week and up 13.28% since the beginning of the year. That's a decent increase. Any investment you invest in, if it goes up 13.28% a little over a month and a half, I would say that that investment is doing pretty well. So that's the landscape of the Pokemon market currently. I mean, obviously it's not getting every single product, it's not getting singles, but it's getting every single ETB from Scarlet and Violet base to Phantasmal Flame. So looking at this, I would say that the Pokemon market is doing really well. I don't see it stopping anytime soon. I think that Pokemon market will perform well for the rest of the year. I do think that Perfect Order isn't the most popular set. It's not going to be the most popular set. So it might bring a little of the hype down, but other than that, I mean, I don't see Pokemon slowing down anytime soon. Ascended Heroes is going crazy. A couple of Ascended Hero products are dropping tomorrow, or that's the official release. I know some people already have those Ascended Hero products. And then the 30th Pokemon anniversary is this year. So I don't see Pokemon stopping anytime soon. But like I said, you can have your own opinions, but one thing you can't talk against is if the data is showing that prices are going up, then prices are going up and the market is doing well. So we'll see how the market is doing week by week. I'll continue to get the prices week by week of these ETBs, and we'll discuss it a little bit. So if you watch up to this far, let me know what you think about the Pokemon market. Let me know what you think about any of these sets. If you think that any of these sets are underrated at their current prices today, if you're holding any big investments in any of these sets or a big believer in any of these sets, just let me know any comments, any thoughts that you have. And I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on TikTok and Instagram, because your support, your watch time, your follow, your comments, your likes really mean a lot to me as I'm trying to grow my channel. I'm trying to grow it and just kind of see where it goes, because I'm doing it for fun. I love the Pokemon market. I spend a lot of time looking at the Pokemon market, so might as well talk about it on a camera and share with the world and see what other people think about it. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all of you guys. A lot of people that I've met, a lot of people that I talked to in this hobby have been really great. So hopefully I continue to meet a lot of you guys and continue to have the great conversation with you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.